This week's garden tour, I'm going to start by showing you my little chicken area here. We have now integrated the big chickens and the little chickens. We have this coop here, and then we got this little picnic table where we put treats on it and they get up there and eat. And my little chickens are now 10 weeks old, and they are getting super big and figuring out that they have lots of space to use their wings. So those are the little silkies, aren't they cute? They're so little. All right, so I keep my chickens in this area here that's fenced off so that they don't eat everything in my garden. The bigger chickens are around the corner. So here comes Miss Lola and Alice. So these are the ladies that are laying eggs, but I will shift over. We have finished putting in our shed, and it's been great for storage space. I've got my barrels here. This lettuce here is complete volunteer. Same with that Swiss chard back there. I did not plant them in there, but somewhere. I don't know where the seeds came from, but they came from somewhere. So I've got all of my herbs that are just going wild here. I actually have some scissors here that I've been snipping and topping off things like this oregano that's trying to go to seed already. But I've got lots of herbs, rosemary, sage. I've got a couple of different types of thyme that I need to plant there. The pineapple mint, we've got a little ladybug on there. And then we'll kind of do a backward tour. I've got these purple potted bush beans that I planted along here for them to be supported by this small trellis. Bush beans aren't going to get super tall, so those are doing well. I planted those from seed not that long ago, and maybe 2 weeks ago, and they're looking really good. The pepper plants are looking good. These are some climbing beans that are getting taller, and soon I'll show you. I'm gonna loop this through this trellis and then up that way, and I'll just keep looping those through. And my gourd plant is looking good. Same thing with that. I've just been looping it through the trellis here, and hopefully that guy will climb. This little butterfly going. I was able to pop in some radishes throughout here on the side of Alex's ghost peppers, and over on this side of the bed, this is my pumpkin, and now just a few days ago it was just hanging off of this bed. I'm actually gonna let it get down on the ground, but as you can see there, that line is already down on the ground, so I'm excited for that. And here we popped in some basil, like mixed basil seeds, and those are sprouting up and doing really well. Here I did the same thing. I started these earlier, and then I decided to pop in some more seeds, and they are taking off. We've got this little bed here that has different types of lettuce and kale and spinach, and then I did just pop in some more seeds, so we've got some little babies coming in there. I've got some more basil there, and I picked up these really nice lettuces from the farmer's market last weekend. I guess I'll take you through these beds and then go from there. We have this whole row of pepper plants that either we're going to grow in containers, or we need to rehome, or we need to put in one of these boxes. This is Alex's second garden bed. These are little sticky tape fly traps, and they're just helping with getting some of the white flies or aphids, kind of as a natural way to get some of those pests off of our plants, and they seem to be working. We actually just put out a fresh one yesterday, and there's a lot of little bugs on there. So as you can see, all of my little beans are sprouting. I'm gonna have to transplant some of these. I popped some seeds in the ground for my Cocozelle squash. It's just a stripy type of zucchini, and the majority of, I think all of the seeds took off, so I'm gonna thin those out and have probably 2, maybe 3 plants there. And then we put this stock tank. It's a 100-gallon stock tank, filled it up with soil, put holes in the bottom for drainage, and I picked up this purple potato plant from the farmer's market from the Tualatin Valley Garden Club vendors. Judy grew that. And then we have some nasturtium. I did pick up a sugar baby watermelon, so I'm thinking with this watermelon I'm going to let it grow and then trail it down here. Another nasturtium, and then I did put a couple of small rows of bush beans in that space there. But as you can see, this pepper bed is doing really well. We have several really good size peppers through there, and I'll show you one of the plants in the center that has a ton. These are the beans that I put in the ground a couple weeks ago. These are Monte Gusto beans. They're white climber beans, and they are getting nice and tall. As soon as they get tall enough, I'll start looping them through the trellises. We've got this black tomato here, more of these Monte Gusto beans, but this is the pepper plant I wanted to show you. It is just packed with, I believe these are cayenne peppers. So those are looking really good. This is a pickling cucumber. I went through today and just added some supports. I like using this Velcro tape, and then I can use it over and over every year. Over here, again, we have a bunch of pepper plants here in these pots, and these are doing well. They are starting to fruit. Same with this guy. Let's see if I can pull out this nice sized pepper. So those are looking happy over here. These are all red noodle beans, so these grow to be 18 inches long. I'm really excited. I've never grown these. And then this is a Brandywine tomato. We've got lots of peppers throughout here. Some marigolds that I added. Some of these, I think this was a mystery pepper. We didn't know what it was. Picked this guy up today from the farmer's market. It's a Count Dracula pepper. It's a purple pepper, but it turns to red. And I love that the leaves stay purple, because like this is a purple jalapeno that we have grown previously, and there's still quite a bit of green on there, so I'm excited to pop this into one of the pepper beds. So the pepper beds are alive. We've got radishes throughout here in each one of the beds, and then I added these stepping stones that I've had in my garage for a good while, and I was looking for the right place to put them in, and I think they just fit right into this garden space. So I'm really happy with how those turned out. It's funny because I just kind of hung this little basket on this shepherd's hook, and it's been really nice to collect like tomato suckers that I've been pinching off or whatever, and then I just take that and dump it out either in the compost or yard debris container. So those are those beds. You can see our little chickies, but they are looking really good. And then over here we have my tomato beds, and I planted different tomatoes at different times, so I'm really excited that they're not all going to, I won't have to harvest them all at the same exact time. But this is a blueberry tomato, and I've got a couple of little tomatoes there. These are Kentucky bush beans, or Kentucky pole beans, not bush beans, pole beans. And as you can see, the whole idea with these climbing beans is these are up higher than the others because I planted them earlier, that they will just fill these arches as they continue to grow. And so I started these, and then I started these later, but those look really good. Over here, I'm super proud of this old bundle of tomatoes. I mean, there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8 just right there, and we've got some more flowers coming in. We've got more up here. Those are looking really good. This was a cool thing I picked up this week. It's a rain gauge, so today it didn't rain, and we got a little over half an inch of rain, so I will empty this guy out. I don't think it's going to rain anymore today, but I'll empty it out at the end of the day. And then the temperature gauge as well. Picked that up at Lowe's. It was like $10. Really like it, and just kind of stakes right into my garden bed there. So tomatoes are coming in hot. They're looking really good. This is a sun gold tomato, tons of tomatoes on there. This is my indigo cherry tomato, and as you can see, these plants are just getting loaded with those tomatoes. This is a Sweet 100. I can't wait for these to fill in because there are so many flowers on this plant, and as you can see, there's little tomatoes that are starting to fill in there, and some of these lower branches already have tomatoes growing. This is a sun sugar, same thing here, and I'm doing the one stem method for the most part, if I can manage to keep them nice and neat and tidy for the indeterminate tomatoes. But these are looking good. This is another one of these indigo cherry drop tomatoes. I got 2 of those this year. They look really, really good. This is a heirloom pineapple tomato. So this is going to be humongous, I'm sure. Although an interesting thing that happened, usually you just keep it to the main stalk. My main stalk on this plant split, and we have this here, so I'm not going to risk topping off my tomato. When you top off a tomato, it stops growing from the top and just focuses on ripening what's on them. So I am gonna leave that split there because it's evenly like 50-50 split. So and then through here I've got beets and onions. These are the little Walla Walla onion seeds that I popped in. We'll see what happens. These are the rainbow carrots, and then these are beets And as you can see, they're starting to grow there under the soil. Then I'm crazy and decided to plant more tomatoes in pots. So I need to find a good spot for these instead of just here in the aisleway. But we have tomatoes galore and some cucumbers and more climbing beans and this black pineapple tomato. These Armenian yard-long cucumbers are looking good. Some of the leaves started browning, not sure what happened there, but I have just been looping them through the trellises. And then we've got some radishes. This guy's like ready to pull. There's something super satisfying about pulling food out of the ground like this. I have this corn. I think this stuff is gonna get really big. We'll see. I packed in my produce pretty tight here, so we'll see how that does. We've got the tomatoes on the edges. Over here, we've got a little ladybug doing her work. This is a gourd plant. I think their tendrils are so cool the way they just wrap themselves up on stuff. So this is a gourd plant. I'm not sure exactly what type of gourd, but you can tell that some kind of gourd is going to be growing there. Now this, I was very excited to find these. If you watch Roots and Refuge like I do, you've heard about cucamelons. And when I saw this at the farmer's market, there were 2 cucamelon plants left and I bought both of them. And now this week they're completely sold out. So I'm really glad that I found these. These are a really small cucumber. As you can tell, I've got a couple that are growing in. I think they're the size of like maybe a large cherry, but the vines get really long, and you get these great little cucumbers. These say that the cucumbers taste like cucumbers with citrus, and I know that these are grown in places like Mexico, so I'm very excited to be growing those in my garden. Here we've got a golden tomatillo and this purple tomatillo. I'm gonna try to keep them tidy in here and then see what happens. My lemon cucumber, I mean, this goes up pretty far on the trellis, so that idea is really coming to life with this is my example where as these grow up, I'm just looping them through, and as you can see, we have some lemon cucumbers growing through there. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm very excited for those. We've got another one of these early girls, which has a big cluster of tomatoes there, some more there. So these are looking really good. My little lime tree, oh, I'm so excited for this. This just had flowers on it when I bought it, and it has a real lime on there. So I'm hoping that that gets bigger. I do plan on putting it in a bigger pot and taking it inside during the winter months. This bed is just exploding. This is a Queen Anne acorn squash, and this is just one plant that I bought from Woodstock Nursery, and I had to kind of trim it up some today, and it's starting to trail up the trellises, and the leaves are getting, I mean, just humongous. So I'm trying to kind of shift it over. Back here, I think I had originally planted a red warty pumpkin, and I thought it had died back, and I'm pretty sure that this is a red warty pumpkin. I know that this is not the squash. So if that survived, that would be really cool. We've got 2 tomatillos there, a couple more beans that I popped on the side of this cucumber, and then we've got my big boy tomato that I planted next to the Fat Mama tomato, and I'm excited to see what happens with those. They're also got a lot of flowers on them. I think in the next week or two I'm going to end up harvesting these watermelon radishes. I was looking at some of them, and they've gotten like a really nice size, so I just keep checking on them. Plus they would give the carrots that I planted here some room to breathe, and maybe I'll just plant some regular sized radishes here when I harvest this whole row. This is the only row of watermelon radishes that I planted. It's my first time growing those. Over here are all my determinate tomatoes. I did give these a haircut just to give them some room to breathe so the sunlight could hit them, and I'm trying to be really conscious of really looping these through these cages so that they don't bush out, since I have a pretty small walkway through here. But I did go through and I cut off a lot of these male leaves. I didn't really mess with the suckers unless they were some of the lower leaves, but they are looking like they're gonna give us lots of tomatoes this year, so I'm hopeful for the determinate varieties. Roma, Oregon Spring, and Celebrity are the 3 varieties that I have in those 5 pots. Over here, so these tubers here I planted later than these that are in bloom. These opened up today and I was so excited. Such a pretty color. And I mean, there's lots of, I think I have about 80 varieties of dahlias, and I don't quite recall. I think this might be a Picasso. It looks like it's going to be really a nice, really big bloom there. And then, yeah, kind of like this like really cool painted stripey. I'm sure these will fill out more by tomorrow once there's some more sunshine. But this whole area, these are all dahlias, and like I said, I've got the smaller ones over here that still need to grow. My strawberries are still going strong. Little Maya, my little niece, keeps coming over and eating them. That planter is pretty much done with, but I still have some coming in on several of these plants. I just have to check them, and so you can see I got a lot of strawberries this year, so I'm really happy with those. And then we spread out some mulch. I need to get out here and just kind of fine tune this just to help with weed prevention. There's this hummingbird feeder that I finally filled up, and the hummingbirds are loving that. This is my hibiscus Rose of Sharon plant tree, and I mean, these are all blooms. This tree looks so beautiful when it's in full bloom. Reminds me of Hawaii. These are doing well. This is going to seed. I think I'm going to pull these out because last year they went to seed and they just like, the seed just spread in this whole area, and I ended up giving a bunch away, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't really want that many monkey flowers there. So I haven't gotten any blooms on my mock orange. I'm not sure if I need to do something to fertilize it, but it just got really big and squirrely this year, so I'm hoping that maybe I'll get some blooms from it. Here's another Rose of Sharon. Actually, ooh, this is the first little bud that I'm finding here. Looks like this is going to bloom soon. That will be beautiful once it's in full bloom. This is the same thing as this guy, but it's a white flower. It's really pretty. This is a hardy hibiscus. I've kept that in a pot, and I think I want to put it in the ground somewhere. The hummingbirds just love this Salvia hot lips. Over here, these tubers, again, I planted these later than the ones that I've had from last year. And yeah, I've been patiently waiting. This is kind of the first flower that was showing signs of blooming, and finally it is in bloom. So this is going to look beautiful. I mean, it already does, but and these are getting pretty tall. They're probably, some of these plants are like 4 feet tall. We have our little apple tree. I think I've counted about 15 apples on this, and they're getting bigger, so I'm excited to have some little apples there. The blueberry plants have gone nuts, and we've been out here harvesting and just eating blueberries. When Maya was over, she got the first blueberries, and there's more to come. Just trying to keep the birds from stealing our berries. And I keep moving this forward, and it keeps kind of shooting back, but I want that to ripen up there. So I'm glad that, again, we have kind of different stages of blueberries that'll ripen at different times. Our little pears are getting bigger. Those look happy. And yeah, I mean, we've just been out here doing work. I just did this area with a bunch of mulch, but I'm really happy with the way things are turning out in my garden space. This hydrangea is super pretty, so that's filling in and looking really nice. So we've just been out here trying to kind of have our yard come together, and it's coming together, and I love it. It looks beautiful. I'm fixing a sprinkler head here, replacing it with something a little taller. But hopefully this will continue to progress and get bigger, and we'll get to keep harvesting food to share with our friends and family. Yeah, it's awesome. It's been bringing me a lot of joy. I'll bring you back to this dahlia to close out. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll do another garden update soon. All right, bye.